Nikola Jokic is the face of the Denver Nuggets and one of the best players in the NBA today. He's a two-time MVP, an NBA champion, and the reason the Nuggets are a contender at all. But now, going into the 2025 offseason, Denver's most important player is facing a huge question about his future. And it all starts with a surprising statement from the team's owner, Josh Kroenke. In a recent interview, Kroenke admitted something that fans had suspected but hadn't heard out loud. The Nuggets don't have much room to make big roster changes this summer. With several players on expensive contracts and the team already deep in the luxury tax, the front office doesn't have the flexibility to go after star free agents or trade for major pieces. It was a rare moment of honesty, and one that changes everything for Jokic. This is what makes Kroenke's words so important. Jokic has always been loyal to Denver. He's never asked out, never caused drama, and always carried the load. But after the Nuggets fell short in the playoffs again, despite Jokic putting up incredible numbers, even he had to admit that something needs to change. He made it clear, this team as it stands probably can't win another title. Denver has money tied up in Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon. All three are important players, but their big salaries limit the team's ability to sign new talent or add depth to the bench. The Nuggets are stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they keep their core intact, they may not be good enough to win it all, but if they trade someone to clear cap space, they risk breaking the chemistry that helped them win in the first place. This puts Jokic in a tough spot. He's eligible for a 3-year, $212 million extension this summer. That's a massive payday, but if he waits until next year, he could sign a 4-year deal worth nearly $300 million. More importantly, waiting gives him time to see if Denver can improve the roster. If they do, he might feel confident enough to commit long term. If not, he keeps his options open. Now 31 years old, Jokic is in the middle of his prime. He doesn't want to waste time. He's said publicly that Denver needs more depth. In today's NBA, championship teams don't just rely on 1 or 2 stars. They need strong benches, smart role players, and consistent support. Jokic knows this. He's seen teams like the Celtics and Thunder win games because of their full rotations, not just their top guys. What makes this even more difficult is that the Nuggets are also going through changes at the top. They fired head coach Michael Malone and general manager Calvin Booth earlier this year. That sends a message. Ownership knows something isn't working, but it also creates uncertainty. Jokic has always thrived under stability. With new voices leading the team, it's not clear yet what direction the Nuggets are going in or how fast they plan to act. So far, there haven't been many strong trade rumors around Denver. Some fans had floated the idea of trading for Kevin Durant, but that's now firmly off the table following his blockbuster move to the Houston Rockets. As for the Nuggets, a deal of that magnitude or any involving a big-name star was never truly on the cards without offloading one of their major contracts. Kroenke made it clear they aren't looking to blow things up. That means Murray and Porter are likely staying, but it also means Jokic probably isn't getting a new all-star teammate this offseason. And that's the core of the problem. Jokic has already done more with less than just about any star in the league. He's the only MVP in modern NBA history who has never had a teammate make an All-NBA, All-Defense, or All-Star team during his MVP years. That says a lot about him, but it also highlights how little help he's had. This summer could decide how much longer Jokic stays in Denver. He hasn't said he wants out, but for the first time, it feels like he's keeping his options open. He wants to win more titles. He wants to play with serious teammates. And if Denver can't make that happen soon, the clock might start ticking on his time with the Nuggets. As free agency approaches and the offseason heats up, Nikola Jokic's future with the Denver Nuggets is now tied to a simple but tough question. Can this team give him the support he needs, or is he going to spend another season doing it all himself? Josh Kroenke's recent comments confirmed what many fans were already thinking. The Nuggets don't plan to make major roster changes this summer. He said the team is focused on internal growth, not flashy signings or big trades. That's not what most people wanted to hear, especially not Jokic. After all, he just carried the Nuggets through another deep playoff run with little help when it mattered most. So what does internal growth really mean? In short, the team is hoping that players already on the roster, like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and young role guys, will step up. But here's the problem. We've already seen this group together, and while they won a championship in 2023, the past 2 seasons have exposed cracks. Murray has battled injuries and inconsistency. Porter is a talented scorer, but struggled in the playoffs, especially under pressure. And beyond that trio, Denver's bench hasn't given them much at all. Jokic knows this better than anyone. After losing to the Oklahoma Thunder in the conference semifinals, he pointed directly at the problem: depth. He said the teams winning championships right now have longer benches and more rotation options. In other words, teams with help. Denver, as it stands, doesn't have that luxury, and unless something changes fast, they'll be running it back with the same limitations next year. Now, Jokic hasn't made any public threats. He's not the type to demand a trade or stir up drama, but by holding off on his extension, he's sending a clear message. He wants to win, and he's watching closely to see if Denver is serious about building a real contender around him. Let's talk numbers for a moment. If Jokic signs the extension now, he locks in a 3-year deal worth around $212 million. That's huge money, no doubt, but if he waits until next summer, he becomes eligible for a 4-year deal worth roughly $294 million. More years, more security, and more control over his future. Waiting doesn't just give him more money, it gives him leverage. And that's something every superstar needs when their team isn't living up to expectations. Denver's financial situation doesn't help either. Between Jokic, Murray, Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon, the Nuggets are already deep into the luxury tax. That means they can't sign big free agents without clearing out serious salary. Trading one of those core players could open doors, but ownership has shown no interest in breaking up the group just yet. That decision might come back to haunt them. Other teams in the West are making moves. The Thunder are young and loaded with assets. The Mavericks just drafted Cooper Flagg. The Lakers and Suns are always trying to build super teams. If Denver stays still while everyone else improves, they risk falling behind fast. There's also the coaching situation. After firing Michael Malone and GM Calvin Booth just before the playoffs, the Nuggets are now led by a new coach, David Adelman. One who hasn't had time to implement a real system yet. For Jokic, who values consistency and smart basketball, this is another layer of uncertainty. He's not just betting on the roster, he's betting on the leadership too. And then there's the bigger picture. Legacy. Jokic is already considered one of the best big men of all time, but every great player is judged by championships. He has one ring, but he wants more, and he knows that to get there, he can't do it alone. This is why the Nuggets' no big changes plan matters so much. If Jokic doesn't believe this team can compete for a title next year, he might decide to wait. He might want to see what the front office can pull off at the trade deadline. He might even want to keep his options open in case things go south. For now, Jokic hasn't made a final decision. He's back home in Serbia, enjoying time with family and staying out of the spotlight. But when training camp rolls around, all eyes will be on him and on the Nuggets. This isn't just about money, it's about ambition. Jokic has given everything to this franchise. Now it's up to Denver to prove they're willing to match that level of commitment. Because if they don't, the clock might be ticking on something fans never thought possible: Nikola Jokic wearing a different jersey.